Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers are currently held in captivity. Relay the young and the restless spoilers. The two of the most fierce women of Genoa City have suddenly vanished, but who could be behind their chilling disappearance? Could it be a bitter enemy from their past, a power player, or someone we'd never suspect? Let's dive into the drama. For starters, the young and the restless spoilers suggests that Ian Ward could somehow be involved. We know the sinister villain is supposed to be dead, but since when has that ever stopped someone from stirring up trouble in GC? The last time Ian tormented Sharon and Phyllis, he had a sinister plan. Frame one for killing the other and sit back as they destroyed each other. Has he returned from the dead to wreak havoc? Next, it could definitely be the ghost that Sharon kept talking to for weeks, Cameron Kirsten. We know he haunted Sharon, but in the end, she convinced herself that it was all in her head. What if Cameron's mind games didn't end with his death? To make things even more shocking, Lyndon Ashby himself recently revealed that he'd love to return to Y&R, maybe even as Cameron's long-lost twin brother. Could he be the one? There is also a possibility that Michael Baldwin is the mastermind behind this twisted double kidnapping. Maybe Michael isn't trying to torment them. Maybe he's trying to teach them a lesson. Sharon and Phyllis have never exactly been best friends, and their long history of feuding has led to some epic showdowns. Could Michael be hoping that a little forced captivity might finally make them call a truce? Despite the distorted voice, some of those words and phrases coming through the speaker sound suspiciously Michael-ish. Phrases like valid request and ladies, those just scream Baldwin's tone of words, right? Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. Drama is at an all-time high in Genoa City, and Nick Newman is caught in the ultimate nightmare. Relay the young and the restless spoilers. Two of the most important women in his life, Sharon and Phyllis, are in danger. But he might be able to only save one. Will he follow his heart, or will guilt push him toward an impossible decision? Keep scrolling to see what happens next. The young and the restless spoilers suggest Nick Newman could be facing a dilemma that will turn his life upside down. Viewers know Phyllis and Sharon were drugged and kidnapped for this dramatic plot. The details of their captor are being kept under wraps. We cannot help but wonder if this is all a part of some elaborate scheme that will push the two arch-nemesis to work together and end their rivalry. We know that the person who took them has delivered a warning. If they don't plan, they won't survive their time in captivity. It is completely possible that the captor wants both of them to work together so the danger might not be so real. A few months ago, Y&R head writer Josh Griffith revealed that Sharon and Phyllis will be put in a life-changing situation where they will reevaluate their relationship. If this actually happens, then we know some shocking twist is also approaching. We know whenever there are Sharon and Phyllis, Nick also somehow gets the spotlight. What if the captor somehow brings Nick in the picture and forces him to make a big decision? The person who has put them in a psychiatric facility can insist that there will be one winner, and Nick might have to choose that. The game could get more interesting if there is some sort of explosive device with a timer that will push Nick to make his decision quickly. Although truces between them don't tend to last all that long, Jack gives little brother Billy his blessing. Restless Rant, a young and restless horror story. Sharon and Phyllis endgame. Plus, vote for your fave potential couple. Lily's been spending time with Damien, but lest anyone think she's wearing blinders where the newbie is concerned, never ear. She's suspicious that all isn't what it seems with the handsome fella. Connor Floyd sends a strong message to fans. Wild that I even have to say this. Stop us if you've heard this one before, but Sally is ready to announce her latest venture. At this point, what career path hasn't the redhead pursued? The real question is whether this one, like so many of her past projects, will be funded by a rich guy. No wonder portrayer Courtney Hope found herself addressing the question of whether or not Sally's a gold digger. Daniel hopes that Chance might launch an investigation, and we're betting it involves his mom's absence. Meanwhile, Summer makes it clear she's pretty sure that Sharon is somehow involved. Young and Restless spoilers for Wednesday, March 5. Despite having watched Jack and Victor butt heads for literally decades, Nikki tries persuading her current and former husband to put aside their differences. Good luck with that one, girl. After a devastating month, Eric Braeden shares a heart-melting moment. This being a day of the week ending in I, Billy decides pushing Adam's buttons would be a good use of his time. But it might be better spent attempting to plug up the leak that's just been discovered at Jebat. People have been speculating left and right about the identity of Sharon&Phyllis' kidnapper. But what if they're all wrong? Young and Restless spoilers for Thursday, March 6. Having been through just about every trauma imaginable, Nikki is the perfect person to offer Claire a little bit of advice, no matter the topic. Devon hopes Lily might be able to give him some intel about Damien. Kyle and Summer have a long and storied history, which might be why he recognizes the need to set boundaries with his ex. But knowing her as we do, one has to wonder if she'll respect them. Claire may be Victor's grandchild, but that won't stop him from making ultimatums where she is concerned. What are Audra and Holden up to? We may get a better idea when the two get together to hatch a scheme. Although they don't share a biological connection, Jack has long thought of Summer as a daughter. So when he makes her a promise, it's one we have no doubt he'll do his darndest to keep. The many daytime stars came out to show their support for the actor, including his castmate Melissa Claire Egan. And while those affected by the fires start to rebuild their lives after such a loss, it warms our hearts when the stars share photos with those who bring them joy. Braeden often posts pics of his family, and in the most recent one, he proudly showed off his youngest grandchild. The little one with her arm wrapped around her grandpa's shoulder, not to mention the smile on his face. Well, what's not to smile about? Talk about a super sweet moment to cherish forever. Prior to that, Braeden shared a photo of his son Christian Guttegast and his granddaughter Tati in Munich, Germany at the Bayern München vs. Frankfurt Fußball game, where the latter was beat in a 4-0 finish. And earlier in February, he posted a pic with one of his daytime family members and shared, "With the one and only Michelle Stafford Phyllis at my 45th anniversary in the show." So the point of the story is, no matter what devastation life throws your way, the love of family and friends always remains priceless. Houghton's name may not be immediately familiar to you, but trust us, you know his work. As an actor, he got his big break when he was cast by The Young and the Restless as lawyer Greg Foster, Nikki Newman's first husband. In 1979, Houghton was among the original cast of Dallas spin-off Knots Landing. As record producer Kenny Ward, he generated more broken hearts than hit singles. Just ask the long-suffering Mrs. Ward, Ginger. Later, Houghton passed through Dynasty spin-off The Culprits as Senator Cash Cassidy, a formidable foe of Charlton Heston's Jason Colby, who was not accustomed to meeting resistance of any kind. Blake Carrington never had to put up with that sort of bleep. In 1991, Houghton returned to Genoa City, although this time in the writer's room. As a scribe for The Young and the Restless, he won 4 daytime Emmys. Phyllis and Sharon remain captive this week on Young and Restless and seem no closer to figuring out why they're being held and by whom. Plus, Billy's being Billy, and Lily has news to share. Adam and Chelsea's quiet time together is interrupted by Billy, who, as usual, has been up to something, forming Abbott Communications. Adam asks Billy, "Is today the day you officially launch your attack on me and Newman Media?" Lily agreed to have dinner with Damien, but with ulterior motives. She and Victor both want to know more about his wealthy benefactor, Aristotle Dumas, who seems to be pulling the strings behind the companies Damien acquired. During dinner, Damien opened up about how he grew distant from his mother after his father's death, and now that man wasn't even his father. This week, Devin, with Nate, asks Lily, is there more to Damien's story? She replies, oh yeah, there's a lot more. Phyllis and Sharon's families were alarmed that they had both gone missing and wondered if one was holding the other captive. The truth was much worse. They were both being held captive in a sick game of try and stay alive that felt like it was straight out of the Saw movie franchise, just without the deadly traps. Well, so far. Coming up, Phyllis reaches her breaking point. Holding a folding chair over her head, Phyllis tells Sharon she's going to break the window and then scream as loud as she can until someone hears her. Sharon tries to stop her, grabs the chair, and screams, if you do that, you're going to get us both killed. Will this be the week we find who is holding them captive and why? Haley Aaron's Claire had a lot to deal with in February, and she continued to knock her performances out of the park. After the endish of Jordan and Ian, life went on for the Newmans as Victor expressed his disapproval of Kyle and Claire's relationship. Billy Abbott decided on a new path even though he refused to let up on his old revenge agenda. The Winters ushered in Amy's mysterious son, who kept everybody on their toes. And Phyllis and Sharon found themselves knee-deep in a brand new hell. Yes, the Young and the Restless had an eventful February. February was especially eventful on the Hastings and Winters side of things. We couldn't help but fall for Jermaine Rivers as Damien Kane, Amy's estranged son. Rivers had the unenviable job of helping to justify Damien's questionable actions, including cutting off his own mother for years and years. But the moment he saw Lily, Damien started to change, and Rivers made us sit up and take notice. As for Valerie Pettiford, she had to play a lot of emotion as Damien continued to keep his distance. When Amy gave her reasons why it looked like she didn't care about her husband as he withered away and died from cancer, Pettiford kept us glued to the small screen. Performer of the Month runner-up Crystal Khalil snagged over 30% of the fans' votes. They must have adored how Lily had no time for Victor and Nikki. Khalil was fantastic as she showed Lily's anger and her character's matter-of-fact demeanor, which also came out with Victor when she used him to get information on Damien. And speaking of Damien, the actress used that same attitude in those dinner scenes with him. We were here for it all. Haley Aaron had an incredible January and, as a result, nabbed the runner-up spot. She graduated to Performer of the Month with over 36% of the vote in February. Aaron has deftly infused her character with strength, resilience, and stubbornness as Claire faced a fierce opponent. Her grandfather, the great Victor Newman. Grandpa Victor has made it his business to show his dislike, disgust, and disapproval of her relationship with Kyle. As a result, Claire has been in a difficult place. She loves her grandfather, but she also knows what she wants, and that's Kyle, and she won't stand for Victor being an obstacle to that happiness. Aaron has done a wonderful job bringing this dilemma to life. Sharon and Phyllis, Nick's two greatest loves, are trapped in a basement on Young and the Restless. A mystery villain has them tied up, and their fate may very well be in Nick's hands before too long. But what if, in true soap opera fashion, there's a catch? He can only save one. Cue dramatic music and slow-motion reactions. Now, if you know Nick, you know this won't be just any old rescue mission. It's a battle of his heart, his past, and his future. Will he reach for Sharon, the woman who has been his soulmate since high school? Or will he go for Phyllis, the fiery redhead who has been his irresistible, passionate downfall time and time again? Let's break it down. If Nick picks Sharon, it's a classic love story moment. High school sweethearts, decades of history, co-parents to their beautiful children Faith and Noah. It all makes sense. Nick saving Sharon would be like Romeo climbing up the balcony. He wouldn't leave her behind, right? That would be unfathomable. On the other hand, if Nick reaches for Phyllis first, It's the stuff steamy soap dreams are made of. Their chemistry is electric, their breakups and makeups are legendary, and Phyllis would absolutely make sure Nick never forgets this moment. She'd remind him at every holiday dinner, every run-in at Crimson Lights, and probably even find a way to work it into a speech at their next inevitable wedding. A rescue mission gone wrong, but let's not forget the wild card. What if Nick hesitates for too long and neither lady makes it out? Or what if, in an even bigger twist, someone else shows up to do the saving? Adam? Jack? Victor on a rescue horse? The possibilities are endless. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint at tension in Genoa City. This week's video preview reveals two enemies working together to survive while two other rivals trade barbs. Here's a glimpse at what's ahead for March 3 to 7. Adam and Chelsea are having a peaceful day at Crimson Lights when Billy comes in. Seeing Adam and Chelsea together is bound to open old wounds for Billy, who won't resist insulting Adam. However, Adam fires back with his own barbs. He asks Billy if, "Today's the day you officially launch your attack on me and Newman Media." Although Billy will proclaim Abbott Communications has nothing to do with payback against the Newmans, revenge is on his mind. Across town, Lely and Devin arrive at Nate's penthouse for dinner. The cousins enjoy a glass of champagne and discuss Nate's half-brother Damien. Nate will tell them about Damien and his imposter Holden. But that's not the end of Damien's story, according to Lely. Could Lily tell them what she discovered during her dinner date with Damien? Or does Lily's information have anything to do with Victor's background check on Damien's business? Elsewhere, Phyllis and Sharon are still locked in captivity. Their mysterious kidnapper continues playing mind games with them as the women fight for survival. But Phyllis is done playing games. This week, a desperate Phyllis plots her escape by breaking a window and signaling for help. However, Sharon stops Phyllis, fearing that her actions could get them both killed. Both Phyllis and Sharon are on edge and want nothing more than to be home with their families. Can they outwit their captor and escape, or will the kidnapper be one step ahead of them? It was a busy week in Genoa City, and The Young and the Restless recap for February 24/28 had its share of drama and unresolved problems for people throughout Genoa City. Find out if any of your favorite actors and actresses from yesteryear are returning to the shows you watch, if any newcomers have been cast in contract, recurring, or day player roles, or if any popular performers are about to make their exit. The Young and the Restless, good news for fans of Eileen Davidson and Elizabeth Hendrickson. The two pair are back on set at Y&R filming scenes as Ashley Abbott and Chloe Mitchell Baldwin, respectively. The two actresses both shared photos on Instagram from the show's studio complex. Connor Floyd gets more airtime as Genoa City cop, Chance Chancellor. He shares scenes with Michael Graziadei and others when Daniel asks him to start an investigation into Phyllis and Sharon's disappearance on Tuesday, March 4. Next week is going to be non-stop drama on Beyond the Gates, The Bold and the Beautiful and the Young and the Restless. We have the scoop on what's to come, and we gotta say, we can't wait. Past secrets are coming to light in the coming episodes. Expect some hot gossip to come down the pipeline when Leslie reveals a juicy tidbit about Eva. Oh, what skeleton is Eva hiding in her closet? Is it something so salacious it could upend her world? Wait and see. When it comes to bad behavior, Dog better watch himself. He gives into temptation, and it could rock his whole life. This fun little twist could turn things upside down and inside out, and he'll have no one but himself to blame. Whoops. Keep your eyes on Nicole and Leslie because their feud is kicking into high gear. Watch for their bitterness to boil over and things to spiral out of control. Chaos is coming, and these ladies are taking center stage in a fight to the finish. Once they get started, the mudslinging won't ever stop. It looks like Finn and Steffi are holding strong despite it all. Things in their world are upside down and inside out right now, but their love continues to prevail. They've loved each other through Sheila's antics, Sugar's murder plot, and so much more. They are determined to survive this Luna situation too. But will they? As for Luna, she's still sitting pretty at the mansion and cozying up to Bill. Little does Dollar Bill know, this little houseguest is taking way too many risks, and his heroics could come back to haunt him. Remy and Finn are in the know, and it's only a matter of time before everybody else is too. The games continue in the dingy basement. Sharon and Phyllis agree to put their differences aside to survive this ordeal. But can they keep it up? They've never kept the peace for more than a few hours before, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Meanwhile, their loved ones are on edge the longer they are gone. Sure, the captor had the gals reach out, but their families knew better than to believe it. This isn't their first rodeo dealing with kidnappings after all. Next week, Nick, Daniel, Summer, and Billy turn to Chance for answers. Will he have any? Is Nate's and Audra's romance under threat by her past with Holden? He may want to keep an eye on these two, since Audra can't seem to stay away from her old friend. What will Nate think when he catches them dining together at the club? Will he play it cool or pry into what's really going on between them? Crimson Lights will set the scene for some mother or son bonding between Kyle and Diane. Things between them seem to be getting better by the day. Will they remain on this uphill trajectory? Has Kyle truly forgiven his mother for the past? Let's hope so. One other bright light in Kyle's life is Claire, and she's just as smitten with him. Claire lights up every time she hears his voice and looks forward to every date and every call. Is that who she's on the phone with when Victor eavesdrops around the corner? The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks are here. From March 3 to 14, 2025, expect Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers to strategize. Jack Abbott is enraged to learn about a Jabot leak. Plus, Kyle Abbott lays down boundaries with Summer Newman. Billy Abbott's new venture. During the week of March 3, fans can expect Jack to give his blessing to Billy Abbott regarding the communications venture launch. However, Diane Jenkins Abbott questions whether Billy should really be working with Phyllis. Speaking of Phyllis, Billy could get worried when he still hasn't heard a word from Phyllis. Billy was pretty enraged after Daniel Romalotti, Jur's cover story about Phyllis chasing a lead without Billy's knowledge. As more days pass, Billy might get the feeling that something is very wrong. Eventually, Daniel asks Chance Chancellor to officially open an investigation. Double kidnapping chaos. Over with Phyllis and Sharon, they will work together to come up with an escape plan. This escape plan probably isn't smashing a window and yelling for help, as Phyllis suggests in the preview clip. Sharon likely calms her co-hostage down, and they come up with a real plan. Over with Lily Winters, she gets blasted by Nate Hastings for digging up dirt on Damian Kane. Nate also won't be too pleased that Lily turned to Victor Newman of all people. There is also a leak discovered at Jabot. Jack becomes outraged, but Nikki Newman tries to negotiate a truce. Over with Claire Grace Newman, she gets an ultimatum from her grandfather. Meanwhile, Kyle is forced to lay down boundaries with Summer. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks reveal that Diane's renovations of the Abbott mansion should be complete. Jack has been freaking out over Diane possibly going too far and changing it into a completely different house. However, Diane might surprise Jack by making minimal updates. There should be some clues about the identity of Phyllis and Sharon's mysterious captor. There might even be a lead on the women's whereabouts. Despite the distorted voices' threats, this could actually be someone trying to do some good. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Daniel Romalotti will contact Chance Chancellor once again and ask for an investigation into his mother's disappearance. However, since Phyllis Summers has checked in once, will Daniel be turned down? Phyllis Summers has been gone for some time. Phyllis and Sharon Newman have both been gone for a few days. However, both of them have called their families and told them we're out of town. Sharon claims to be in Sedona, while Phyllis says she is checking into investors for Billy Abbott. Unfortunately, no one can get back in touch with them because they have burner phones. Daniel is afraid that Sharon has kidnapped his mother because of everything she has done is recent history, even though she was drugged at the time. Daniel wants his mother found. He just lost his fiancé and cannot take losing someone else that he loves. Are Chance's hands tied since Phyllis is an adult? Chance Chancellor wants to help. Chance certainly wants to help since he blotched the whole murder investigation into Heather Stevens' death. Chance knows that Summer Newman holds that against him, and he truly wants to find Phyllis and bring her home. However, Chance may need proof that Phyllis was kidnapped before he can open an official investigation, and they have none. Phyllis didn't give any clue that she had been kidnapped when she called to let the kids know she was okay. Phyllis couldn't find a way to leave a clue without getting caught by her kidnapper. Could the kidnapper allow her to check in again? Could Phyllis mention something that will alert them that she has been taken? Summer Newman takes things into her own hands. While Daniel is trying to get Chance to look into this, Summer is busy taking it upon herself to play detective. Summer will also use this opportunity to get some alone time with Kyle Abbott by asking him to help find her mom. Will these two manage to find Phyllis before the cops get to her? Summer and Kyle may figure out some sort of clue from Phyllis' call and manage to figure out where she is at. However, can Summer and Kyle take down the kidnapper and bring them to judge while freeing both women? Could Sharon and Phyllis manage to escape and save themselves before anyone can get to them? Will this search bring Summer and Kyle closer together as they try to save Phyllis? The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Billy Abbott believes he's making progress. But is his secret partner an ally and a hidden danger? Sneaking out of his bedroom in the middle of a Parisian night was purposeful. Billy didn't want Sally Spectra to know what he was doing or who he was talking with. Meanwhile, Victor Newman is tasking his fixer, Michael Baldwin, to get as much information as he can about Aristotle Dumas. So, was Billy's secret call with this supposed billionaire businessman? Victor Newman loathes the Abbotts. Victor's attitude toward the Abbotts is far beneath him. He does not need to think about Billy Boy, as he calls him, or his brother Jack Abbott. But all anti-heroes need a foil, or, in this case, foils. So the Moustache decided that his exaggerated grudge against Jack was worth pursuing. Victor is convinced that Jack's reckless behavior in a Genoa City athletic club suite nearly caused Nikki Newman to die. That's not true. However, Victor believes it and has used that point of perceived contention to restart a war with Jack. Both men were in a mutually called truce for many years. Billy Abbott wants his company back. Billy feels that Victor is responsible for his mother selling Chancellor. But he's stubborn like Victor because that's not true either. Jill Abbott sold Chancellor to Victor as part of a process that initially had him sell it to her. As devoted viewers recall, Victor inherited Chancellor Industries from Catherine Chancellor when she died. Catherine left the company to Victor instead of Jill because she felt he would be a better steward. Victor was initially recruited to GC by Catherine to help her run the business she inherited after her husband tragically died in the 1970s. Philip Chancellor II's death remains one of the great storylines in this show's history, with its resonance spanning many decades. So Billy is delusional because his company was never his, and he's not a chancellor. Aristotle Dumas is coming to town. Aristotle is being pitched to the audience as the next great main character. Alternatively, he could be a side player who burns hot for a measured period and disappears. It's plausible to believe that Aristotle tapped Billy or that Thompson's character sought him out. Having Billy go outside of someone who is known to join him in a fight against Victor silently makes sense. Assuming the above is possible, Billy is a far more significant threat than Victor realizes. Add Jack's funding to Abbott Media, and a compelling tale lies ahead this late Midwestern winter into spring. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 3, 2025 are here. Next week, fans can expect Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman to form an escape plan. Holden Novak and Audra Charles scheme. Plus, a leak is discovered at Gebot. Sharon Newman's kidnapping. During the week of March 3, fans can expect Sharon and Phyllis to continue being held hostage. The two women still don't know the identity of their captor, and he keeps saying it's not important. Sharon and Phyllis solve riddles and have a bit of talk therapy. The women even get hot coffee in the morning. While the captives must work together, they are enemies and have very different personalities. So working together isn't the easiest thing for them. Phyllis Summers' escape plan. Next week, fans can also expect Phyllis and Sharon to form an escape plan. In a weekly preview clip, Phyllis plans on smashing a chair through a window, then screaming for help. In the clip, Sharon tries to stop Phyllis. It seems that Sharon and Phyllis might come up with a better plan, one that won't get them killed. However, toward the end of the week, expect Daniel Rumalotti Jr. to turn to Chance Chancellor again. This time, Daniel wants Chance to launch an official investigation into Phyllis' disappearance. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Holden and Audra scheme together. Now, if they scheme together, what are the chances that they will end up back together romantically? Holden seems totally smitten with Audra, perhaps even in love. Audra didn't tell Nate Hastings the truth for a reason. She must still have feelings for Holden. Gebot leak discovered. Fans can also expect a leak at Gebot to be discovered. Meanwhile, Kyle Abbott lays down boundaries with Summer Newman. Speaking of Summer, she ends up pointing the finger at Sharon. Then, Victor Newman issues an ultimatum to Claire Grace Newman. Will Claire choose love or family? It is also stated that Sally Spectra announces her newest venture. Divin Hamilton Winters questions Lily Winters about Damian Kane. It seems Lily finds some major intel according to the weekly preview clip. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? The Young and the Restless never fails to deliver a dramatic storyline, and this week will be no different. Adam and Chelsea will take center stage, while Billy works behind the scenes with a strategic plan. Other characters will also be involved in some thrilling storylines. Phyllis and Sharon will remain stuck in captivity, struggling to deal with the captor's games. Meanwhile, Lily will uncover some shocking details about Damian. This week is set to introduce some interesting and thrilling plotlines that will involve some high-stakes drama. Billy will bother Adam by taking a dig at him. He will tell him that his new business venture is a move to attack Newman Media. Adam will refuse to back down and have a heated exchange with Billy, making it clear that he is ready to take up a challenge. Meanwhile, Chelsea will be bothered by this encounter and wonder if Adam's aggressive attitude toward business might endanger their growing romance. She will also still feel guilty about her past actions, especially those involving Billy. While Adam and Chelsea will be dealing with their complicated relationship, Billy will be working on a major project. He will secretly lay the foundation for Abbott Communications, a potential rival to Newman Media. However, his end goal remains unclear, but one thing is certain: he is ready to challenge Adam. Billy's attack against Adam could either work in his favor or backfire. Jack will give Billy his blessing to proceed with the project, but Billy's intentions are unclear. He might be planning it as a passion project or an act of revenge. Phyllis and Sharon are still trapped in the Havenhurst Psychiatric Clinic. As the days pass, both would grow more desperate to escape. This week, Phyllis will snap out of it and try to smash the window with a chair. Sharon will rush to stop her, warning that her actions might get them both killed. As their survival hangs in balance, their families will race against time to find them. Daniel will direct Chance to investigate their disappearance. However, Summer will accuse Sharon of being involved in her mother's disappearance, potentially setting back the investigation. As time passes, Sharon and Phyllis will be left to ignore their past differences and focus on working together until their families find them. Meanwhile, Lily will continue her investigation into Damien and remain determined to find what he's hiding. During a conversation with her brother Devin and cousin Nate, Lily will confirm that she has found something. With Victor also looking into Damien's past, viewers can expect an unexpected truth revelation. Damien's connection to wealthy Aristotle Dumas will raise red flags. On the other hand, Nikki will urge Victor and Jack to call a truce and set aside their differences. But Victor is already scheming, so a truce is highly unlikely. Meanwhile, Claire will be troubled by Summer's closeness with Kyle. In response, Kyle will decide to set boundaries with Summer to protect his relationship with Claire. Additionally, Victor will present Claire with an ultimatum to choose between the Newmans and the Abbotts. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.